Hello guys and welcome back to HANEX English Academy. Today we'll look into a pretty familiar topic to you guys, which is to describe a person on the news that you would like to meet. In this topic, you should say who this person is, where you knew him, what he's like, and why would you like to meet him. So today we'll talk about Mr. Vũ Đức Đàm, Vietnam's Vice President. And where I knew him? Very simple. We usually meet him on the Vietnam Daily News. About what he's like? Well, first, he is a highly composed person. And for the recent days, as you guys can see, he is highly responsible in directing people to protect themselves from the coronavirus. And the reason why I would like to meet him is that first, I highly admire his dedication to Vietnamese citizens. And also, I'd like to find out how he sticks to his chosen career path. And here are some of the vocabularies for you guys to finish this topic efficiently. Speaking of what he's like, so we usually describe this person as a highly composed man. When you're speaking of a composed person, he is calm and he's in control of his emotions. In the event of something describes when something happens. And when something gains a reputation, or in this case, when Mr. Vũ Đức Đàm gains a reputation, he becomes known and remembered for doing something. And as you guys can see, for the recent days, he has been working relentlessly, or in other words, he has been working without showing any signs of stopping. And of course, as you guys also can see, he has also urged people to practice social distancing, which means to urge people to keep physical distance between each other to inhibit the virus spread. Speaking of the word inhibit, it means that to prevent something from spreading even further. When you quarantine something, well, you keep it in a closed area to prevent the disease spread. Speaking of field hospitals, they are mini hospitals for temporary, or in other words, on-site caretaking. And when you speak about barracks, well, they are the buildings where soldiers live. And when you speak of the selflessness, or Mr. Vũ Đức Đàm's selflessness, he is highly careful, attentive towards people, more than for himself. And when you curtail something, when you basically reduce or limit something. So the reason why I'd like to meet him, well, here are some of the words that I would love to use. So when you speak in two minds, well, you are unable to decide about something. A role model is a person with good behavior worth being admired and copied. And in this case, it is Mr. Vũ Đức Đàm himself. So here is another sample speaking test for you guys to learn. Hello, sir and madam. So today I would like to tell you about a person on the news whom I would like to meet. He is Vietnam's Vice President, Mr. Vũ Đức Đàm. I see him as on the Vietnam's daily news on channels of VTV1 and VTV3. He always appears in a composed manner, reading political reports and making recommendations. However, in the event of the coronavirus, he has gained a reputation as a highly responsible person towards citizens' lives, as day by day he has relentlessly persuaded citizens through social media to practice social distancing and even communicated this message through text messages to inhibit the virus spread. He has also directed soldiers and doctors to aggressively quarantine foreigners and infected citizens in field hospitals and barracks. And you know what? His selflessness is also demonstrated by his gradually turning gray hair, mostly as a result of the stress of having to devise effective methods to curtail the virus impact. That being said, I cannot help but admire his selflessness. Also, as I have been in two minds about my choice of career, mostly because of my lack of self-confidence, I would love to find out how he managed to believe in his abilities to stick to his chosen roadmap to become a vice president. In general, Mr. Vũ Đức Đàm would always remain as my main model in terms of attentiveness and determination. So that's the end of this video. And of course, don't forget to like and share and subscribe to HANEX English Academy for more content.